Field of 68 After Dark.
This is the Field of 68 After Dark, presented by Warner Brothers. All odds coming via our partners at BetMGM, and welcome to March. Madness has officially gotten underway out there in Dayton in the first four. NCAA tournament officially underway. Alongside Mike Latulip and John Henson, I am Sam Ravitch. We're going to have a little fun here tonight on the Field of 68 After Dark. We're going to try to pick a consensus bracket. We'll see how that goes. It'll be interesting. See how far Henson wants to take his heels. See how far Mike wants to take his Illini.
Not far. Not far.
Not far.
Not far.
All right.
We're gonna
contention. I'll tell you what, Henson. That
not
TCU UNC that upset pick is trending right now.
I'm gonna tell you what. Put the house on North Carolina. Y'all got to look at everybody wants upset so bad. That's not an upset pick. Trust me. But keep going.
All right. Very good. We also got some action in the first four. Howard punching their ticket into the official bracket of 64. They will face the reward will be facing off against Michigan on Thursday night. So congratulations to Kenneth Blakely and the Bison for picking up their first NCAA tournament win. Congratulations. We're also following closely the NC State and Texas game. Right now, Texas with a 1-point lead at the time of our recording with about 16 minutes left to go in that game. So I promise we will get to that. As well as talk about some of the other first four games coming up tomorrow. But you guys ready to go and fill out this bracket here?
Let's do it.
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. Let's start in the East region, and we'll start with the 1 seed Duke and the 16 seed Siena and the Fighting Jerry McNamara's there. I just think it's ironic, guys, and I said this on the other podcast on our selection show. Jerry McNamara, one of the greatest shooters of all time in Syracuse basketball history. And yet, the Siena Saints ranked 333rd in the country in three-point field goal percentage. He was asked about it, is it fun to coach a team in a different way that you played? And he said, no, absolutely not. So any sort of pushback or fight for the Siena Saints in the historic 16-1 upset here?
No fight, no pushback from me.
All right, very good. Moving right along. Ohio State, TCU. This is an interesting one. Two teams playing really well right now. TCU, one of the more confounding resumes in all of college basketball and all of the bracket. Have that win over Florida, nearly beat Michigan, and then, of course, lost to New Orleans in the first game of the season. So, Latulip, thoughts on this matchup?
This is one I've gone back and forth on
Agreed.
A bunch. And so I just – when I look at TCU, they don't have a ton of positional size at the guard spot. They're the second shortest team at the high major level. I actually think that helps them in this game because when you have to talk about navigating ball screens and off-ball screens, guarding Mobley, guarding Thornton, I don't want to be bigger. I want to be quicker, and I think they have that. So I'm going TCU in this one.
Henson?
I tend to agree. I like Big David Punch down there, controlling the paint, and also I'm a big proponent, especially in coaching matchups. I think TCU wins that coaching matchup handedly, so I'm going to go TCU as well.
All right, TCU is our vote. Buckeyes have been playing some of their best ball as of late. They're 4-1 over the last 5 games. That includes a win over the Big Ten tournament champions in Purdue. 5-0 against the spread in that span for whatever it's worth. But that's going to be a really, really good game. So we'll go with TCU here in our bracket. TCU will face off against Duke in the second round. Moving down into the 5-12 matchup, St. John's and Northern Iowa. A lot of people will remember Northern Iowa as the last time they were in the tournament in 2016. Jesperson half-court shot, and then shockingly losing in astounding fashion in the second round. But St. John's back-to-back Big East regular season and tournament champions. This is a trendy pick to not only win this game, but to beat Duke as well. Henson, we can start with you on this matchup.
I'm all in on St. John's. I think they're playing well. They're rolling. They beat UConn, who essentially was a number 1 seed until St. John's got a hold of them, right? So I love them against Northern Iowa. It's going to be a slow game. The pace is going to be kind of nasty, but I think that St. John's size in the interior is just going to overwhelm Northern Iowa. They're small. They're banged up. So I'm going to St. John's.
You take the under on this one, Latulip?
I think so. I think it's going to be a low possession game like Henson mentioned, and Sam, you and I were on the other night, and it's just I don't think I can bring myself to pick Northern Iowa, even though it feels like the last 3 years we've had a matchup like this where it's very contrasting paces. And so I actually may leave that for a different matchup on the other side of the bracket. But I will say, I mean, St. John's, like 4 of their 6 losses this year have come in games that have featured under 70 possessions. I think this will be under 70 possessions for St. John's. So, I think Northern Iowa is going to make this team play in the half court. And I think, there's an argument to be made that Trey Campbell might be the best guard on the floor in this game. I just think ultimately, I think that St. John's, the front court's too big, too strong. I'm gonna go St. John's.
I think the pace of play. To y'all's point, Northern Iowa plays the 4th slowest pace in Division I basketball this year, the 2nd slowest of any team in the tournament field, second only to Iowa, not that far away. St. John's, meanwhile, has the 3rd fastest pace in the Big East this season. So contrasting styles of play in this game. We will go with the Johnnies to advance. Now, they will play the winner of Kansas and Cal Baptist. Interesting geographic dynamic in this game. Cal Baptist making the tournament for the first time in program history, and they only have to drive about an hour or so, depending on traffic out there in California, to San Diego. So they got one of the best scorers, too, in mid-major basketball this year. Kansas, obviously, the Darryn Peterson conversation has been hotly debated, Henson, but any pushback from Cal Baptist to Bill Self's Kansas Jayhawks in this one?
No pushback on Cal Baptist. I'm a very historical trends type of guy. I don't need to overanalyze it. If you look up the 4-13 matchups, they usually win.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Dominic Daniels is awesome. I don't think it's going to be enough in this one. Cal Baptist is good on the glass, too, and that's an area that Kansas has kind of been up and down, but I'd expect the big Floyd to be doing a good game in this one.
All right, we'll go with Kansas. Kansas will play St. John's, one of the better round of 32 matchups that I think we could get in this NCAA tournament. This one's interesting. 6 versus 11, Louisville versus South Florida. The Michael Brown situation is what's really holding everybody up, I think. But aside from that, let's not forget that South Florida is a really, really good team, and they have beaten some good teams this year. So regardless of if Michael Brown Jr. is available, I think we're going to have some folks picking this 11 versus 6. LaTulip, is this an upset that you are buying here?
I am buying this, and I know it's a trendy one. I think USF is held their opponents under 10 3-pointers in 8 of their last 9 games. That could change against this Louisville team. Obviously, you're going to take a step up in competition. I just think this is going to be one of those games where the tougher team wins, and I think that'll be USF. Louisville just feels, and nothing against Louisville, I just think they feel too disjointed right now with Michael in, Michael out. Who we rolling with? It's been, I think, a little bit too much for them to overcome this year.
Henson?
Yeah, I tend to agree. Everybody's on USF, obviously, so it makes me run away from upset picks when too many people are like on them.
Yeah.
I mean, but I think this is kind of a team. I've actually seen them a lot there in Tampa, so they can play with anyone, man. And if they're rolling, defending how they're supposed to defend, this Louisville team is they're drastically different without Michael Brown Jr. They don't play the same. They have a different style. And the thing that they do that frustrates me the most about Louisville is when they get down or things get a little sketchy, they just start firing threes. They just start firing threes. And I'm like, look, that's not how you come back in basketball games. So you do that against USF, you're going to get ran up out of there. So let's go USF.
Louisville, a lot of one-on-one basketball, kind of like we're seeing in this Texas NC State game. But yeah, so South Florida making their first NCAA tournament for the first time since 2012. The Bulls get a lot of their offense on second chance opportunities. They average about 17 second chance points per game, which is actually the most of any team in Division I basketball this year. So we will go with the 11-6 upset here. Apologies to Pat Kelsey and his squad, but we will see you next year. South Florida advances, and they will face the winner of Michigan State and North Dakota State. We're going to punch in Sparty here. It is, after all, the month of Tom Izzo.
Yeah, I'm going to go Michigan State.
All right. Very good. We can move that one along.
Yeah.
The 7-10 matchup is another interesting one here in the East region between UCLA and UCF. Mick Cronin does not have to see the Statue of Liberty. He does have to see the Liberty Bell. So he does have to make a cross-country trip, which I know he probably isn't pleased about. Johnny Dawkins' squad is, a very high variance team this year.
Yeah.
The Tulip, thoughts on the UCF-UCLA matchup here in the East region?
Yeah, I mean, UCF's they're good enough offensively to scare you in a single elimination setting. I just think a lot's going to be predicated on the Donovan Dent, Tyler Bilodeau health. I do think that they'll be good to go, and because of that, I'm picking UCLA here.
Yeah, I lean UCF because right now, I mean, Donovan Dent was holding the calf. I don't know if the calf heals in 7 days. And Bilodeau, we don't know how bad that is, right? Because what happens is, we're going to be fine. We'll be available. Like, I would hurt my wrist my junior year. I could barely hold the ball. Like, I told everyone I was fine. So, and I was banged up. So, I'm going to go UCF because I don't trust those injuries. And, against a UCF team that definitely high variance, but can get after you. They can get after you if you let them. And so I think this is a tough spot for UCLA with two of their stars banged up.
I'll add real quick.
Go ahead, Mike.
Sam, I was in Chicago for that Big Ten tournament, and I just felt like the Bilodeau injury looked bad when it happened. Like he looked shaken up. He was on the ground for a while, and then went in the locker room, came back out. He was moving pretty well on the bench, and then looked okay the next day. Dent comes out at halftime and is in his warm up, and that kind of felt like a let's focus on our next matchup type deal. But we'll see because I think obviously it changes the forecast drastically for UCLA because I may not only just have them winning this game.
It's just like okay, knee bruise, bone bruise. I've had that before. You can definitely play through that, but it's super painful, painful. And then with dent in the lower leg, I guess it looked like he was grabbing
the calf. Yeah, the calf one is, and that's why I feel like they might have been being cautious there because the calf that's just one of those. I mean, we saw with Halliburton, with a lot of those guys that have gone through those types of injuries. You won't mess with that.
Just a couple of nuggets here before we make the decision. Dent has assisted Bilodeau 73 times this year. It's the fourth most from one player to another in Division I. So they've connected on a lot this year. UCF has lost 4 of its last 5 entering the NCAA tournament. History tells us that a lot of those things don't necessarily always play into what happens in the first round. But just because of what could happen in the next round, I'm going to take UCLA, because that would set up a Dan Hurley, Mick Cronin matchup in the second round. And I just can't pass that up. That's just, the TV is too good. The storylines are just too Hollywood for us. So am I getting pushback on the Paladins from Furman here, or could we punch in UConn to the next round?
We can punch in UConn.
All right.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. We go back to the top of the East region here. Duke and TCU. This is an interesting one, guys. Considering what we have seen from TCU at times this year, another high variance team, but we can move through this one fairly quickly.
I'm going Duke.
All right.
All right. I'm just
frozen. All right. We'll go
Duke
St. John's and Kansas here. Mike?
I like Kansas. I like Kansas in this one. I just think at some point with that St. John's front court could get neutralized in a game like that, and I like the Kansas backcourt more. So I'm going Kansas.
And again, despite being in and out of the lineup this year, Darryn Peterson obviously still projected to be the number 1 overall pick. He has been productive when he's been on the court. He's averaging about 28 points per 40 minutes this year. So I tend to concur with you, Mike. Well, Henson, we'll let you be the tiebreaker here between St. John's and Kansas.
I'm going St. John's. I just like their team. I like how they're playing. Edge of forward down there. Now they don't have a point guard, which worries me, but I just like the edge they're playing with. Big East regular season conference title. Kansas is a little bit of, disjointed, as my guy LaTulip would say.
That I'll tell you what, the battle between Zuby Ejiofor and Floyd Badunga would be tremendous in that game to watch.
That'd be bad for Flory.
We'll go with St. John's. We'll punch them in here. St. John's and Duke into the Sweet 16. South Florida and Michigan State. We taking the Bulls to win another one here, or is this where the road ends?
Road ends for USF. I'm a big proponent of Michigan State. We don't talk about them a lot, but they have the makeup of these like Michigan's, Arizona. They've got the bigs, they've got the guards. They can shoot it, fairly well on any given night. So I like Michigan State.
Yeah, and they got. They lack a secondary creator, but I think Fierce makes up for that with his own creation. So, the big thing with Michigan State is I just wonder at some point. Their defense has slipped since the beginning of February. But I just wonder if at some point they just kind of cut Trey Fort loose because they need that added scoring punch. But I got Michigan State here.
All right. UCLA and UConn, the front court could be an issue for UCLA here. Terrace Reed could pose a problem underneath. But thoughts on this one, Henson? UConn, UCLA, the 7-2.
I'm going UConn. I think this is where UCLA's stop runs. Obviously, UConn is well documented. They're really good. And I think they may be coming into this tournament with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, man. Like losing to St. John's those few times and not having anything to show for it this year. They're a team to watch.
Yeah, this is provided that Dent and Bilodeau are healthy. I think I'd go UCLA. There's the concern with UConn right now. You look at the Marquette loss, the St. John's loss, the 16 turnovers in each of those games. I think under 20% from three in each of those games. Like you could look at that one of two ways. Either it's a concerning trend, which I think the turnovers have been most of this year, or on the shooting side, it's a water finds its level in the NCAA tournament, which would be huge for them. With Silas Demery feeling like one of their only entry points into the paint, I just think that's so much to put on one guy. I know Dan Hurley is a master puppeteer with what he does with the offense, but I think they're going to need to figure that out offensively. I do trust them defensively, but to win 2, 3, 4, get to Indy, they're going to have to be a little bit more fluid on that end.
Games in Philly. Sorry, Mike. We're going with the Huskies.
I figured.
I do.
Once Henson went UConn, it was a moot point.
That was easy. All right, so UConn, Michigan State into the Sweet 16. All right, Duke, St. John's. Battle of two excellent coaches. Do we have a UConn, St. John's Part 4 potentially? Thoughts on this one? Do the injuries catch up to Duke at any point here, Mike?
I think they can make up for the Caleb Foster injury just because they have some other point of attack defenders. But the Gongba one's huge. If Gongba's back, if he's good to go, they can run the table. But I'm going Duke here. All right,
Henson.
I am going St. John's. I don't think Caden Boozer. I think Caden Boozer hasn't been punched in the mouth yet. He has not had a bad game. He has not had adversity, which is going to happen in this tournament, and he's going to have to steady the ship. And I don't think he's going to be able to steady the ship. And I have them going down here, similar to like 2 or 3 years ago, maybe when Tennessee came across Duke and just kind of punked them a little bit. I'd see that happening.
I'll go with Duke. Duke's not getting enough credit for what they've done this year. I do think they'll be able to at least overcome some of the injuries here. They've shown they can do it. So we'll go with Duke, and then Michigan State, UConn. Man, you want to talk about physicality? This is a matchup for you, Henson. What do you want?
I'm going UConn. It's obviously it's a close matchup, but I think UConn prevails here. Experience, guard play, size. I'm gonna go with UConn.
I like to think Michigan State has figured some things out since the first time these two teams played in the secret scrimmage, or I guess not so secret, the exhibition. But I mean, those bigs having to chase around Caravan was tough. So I'm going UConn here.
All right, now we got Mike on the UConn train. So we got Duke and UConn. Who's going to the Final Four? Duke, UConn. We got the 1-2, so we kind of went a little chalky here.
It's going to be chalky, man. Yeah, Duke too. I'm going Duke.
All right, Huskies road ends here. Look, I take it. I take it. I take a trip to the Elite Eight after a loss to Marquette to end the season. So we'll step aside here. We'll finish filling out this bracket here. We got to move it here. We could be here until the games are actually underway.
Yeah, I was going to say. So, like, should we just kind of like go over the games? Let's just try. Yeah, we can focus on like the upset type, games. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. All right, we'll do the South region when we come back here on the Field of 68 After Dark.
As you know by now, we have teamed up with BetMGM again this season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we will have special offers for Field of 68 fans, including same-game parlays, best-in-class live betting, and daily odds boost. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code FIELD to get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's how it works. You download the BetMGM app, you sign up using bonus code FIELD, you deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure you use that bonus code FIELD when you sign up. Make this college basketball season one for the history books. Make it legendary. And don't forget, if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code FIELD and get your $1,500 first bet offer today. It's 2026. Everything in our world has leveled up. Our phones are supercomputers, your car parks itself, but your razor is still flimsy and overpriced. That's where Harry's Plus comes in. Harry's Plus has an advanced pivoting system to reach every corner of your face. It has refined blade tech for a close and smoother shave, and has a weighted metal handle for added control and comfort. Most importantly for me, Harry's Plus has German-engineered blades that are honed at 3 different angles to cut hair cleanly and without razor burn. I may have a beard, but I still need to shave my neck to make sure I don't look like Paul Gasol. And with Harry's, I have never dealt with razor burn, painful bumps, or the kind of nicks and cuts that you get with drugstore blades. If you don't love your shave, Harry's will make it right, no questions asked. There's zero downside to giving it a shot. For a limited time, our listeners get the Harry's Plus trial set for only $10 at harrys.com/F68. This set includes all new Harry's Plus razor, 1 refined 5-blade cartridge, a 2-ounce foaming shave gel, and a travel cover to protect your blades on the go. Just head to harrys.com/F68 and tell them we sent you.
Back here on the Field of 68 After Dark on this Tuesday evening, March 17th. March Madness is underway out in
Turner plug? Is that a Turner plug? Wow.
TNT Sports.
That's cool. That's cool. Look, they better take y'all boys to a steak dinner in DC. Tell them, go hide that money, divide that money, man. God dang. Jesus. All right, go ahead, man. My bad.
All right, no, you're good, Henson. We got Duke coming out of the East region, so now let's head on down to the South region where Florida is the number 1 seed there. We will pick Florida to advance over the winner of Prairie View and Lehigh. Clemson and Iowa in the 9-8, no Carter Welling for Clemson. This is another one of those games where the under may be interesting here, Latula, considering the offenses.
Yeah, lowest total, rightfully so. But give me the best player on the floor. Give me Bennett Sturts. Give me Iowa.
Henson?
I'm without their starting big for sure. Give me Iowa. Clemson needs everybody, and they're missing a big body, so I'm going Iowa.
No contention from me here. I actually picked every single 9 over every single 8 in my personal bracket, but I digress. The 5 versus the 12 here. McNeese and Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt obviously just whooped Florida the other day. McNeese no longer has Will Wade, but they're still balling. LaTulip, thoughts on the 5-12 here?
Yeah, I mean, I know McNeese can turn you over. I just trust this Vanderbilt backcourt to to not cough it up too much. So I'm going Vanderbilt here.
I'm gonna go Vanderbilt as well. I don't think McNeese State have the guards or the size on the perimeter, which I think is going to be Vanderbilt's downfall eventually.
All right, I'll take Vandy to advance as well here. 4 versus 13, Nebraska versus Troy. Any love for Troy here, or is Nebraska going to get their first win in program history in the NCAA tournament?
I'm going Nebraska.
I'm going Nebraska.
Is there any, real quick, is there any more pressure on a one-game sample size in the NCAA tournament than Fred Hoiberg has here with Nebraska?
Gotta have it. Gotta have it.
Absolutely,
gotta have it.
Yeah, it won't be talked about, but they'll be back. He's going to win the game eventually.
I agree. All right, Henson, your turn. North Carolina, VCU. Heavy. This is a heavy 11-6. A lot of people hammering VCU right now.
That's good. I'm going to make some money. I'm going to go North Carolina. Just their two best lineups actually on the court are without Caleb Wilson. Now, obviously, their ceiling is lowered, but this is a good team without him. And I don't think VCU is going to be able to answer VSAR down there. And then, threes, we start making threes. I like us to win this one.
Yeah, I mean, that's my exact analysis there. I'm going North Carolina. I don't think they have an answer for Henry VSAR. And North Carolina runs a lot of these side pick and rolls on cleared sides. That's where VCU traps. And you could have Bogovac, some of these guys drilling threes. So I'm going Carolina.
Regardless of what you guys said, I was going to pick North Carolina because I want to see the debate between North Carolina and Illinois here in the round of 32. So we'll take Illinois to beat the Quakers. St. Mary's and Texas A&M is another interesting 10-7 here. A lot of people probably haven't seen a ton of St. Mary's this year out of the West Coast Conference. Texas A&M, obviously buckyball, doing what they do, pressing for 40 minutes. Mike, thoughts on this one?
I'm going St. Mary's. I just think another low possession game, or they're going to try to pull Texas A&M into the mud. And we just saw it last year with St. Mary's and Vanderbilt. Obviously, Vanderbilt and Texas A&M, different schemes, but Vanderbilt still up tempo last year, and St. Mary's just put them in the grinder. So I'm going St. Mary's on this one.
I am going to go with A&M. I saw A&M actually. I mean, I'm not sorry. Yeah, I saw St. Mary's earlier this year against Arkansas State struggle against their guards, and then Vanderbilt as well. So whenever St. Mary's kind of goes against some high-level kind of perimeter action, they struggle. I'm going to go for the A&M.
I believe St. Mary's is favored in this one for whatever it's worth. I'll go with you, Henson. I'll go with A&M to win this one and get the upset in the process. Houston over Idaho will take the Houston Cougars to advance there. Although I do think Idaho has the best moniker in March Madness this year with the Vandals. So we'll go back to the top of the South region bracket here, Florida and Iowa.
Florida and Iowa, I'm going Florida.
I think this gets spooky for Florida, but I'm going Florida.
Really? How spooky, Mike? Like real spooky?
Iowa's just been weird in these games where, the Michigan game that they played at home, they took Michigan to the brink because they're lower possession. They turn you over, ball pressure. I think that could be a closer one than people expect, but Florida advances.
Okay. Florida advances. They'll take on the winner in the Sweet 16 of the 5-4 matchup, according to our bracket, Vanderbilt and Nebraska. Is this where Nebraska's road ends? Do we get another rematch here of Vandy and Florida?
I'm going Vandy. Just think they're the better team, top to bottom. I love how they played. Unfortunately, they didn't win the SC championship, but I like Vandy as a whole.
Honestly, I think I came into this with Vandy, but I think I'm going Nebraska. I just think I think on a one-day prep, what they do defensively is not easy to prepare for. And so I'm going with the Huskers. Screw it.
I'm kind of with you, Mike. I mean, everyone's out on Nebraska. Like, win one game and then the pressure's off, right? Now you're playing with house money. Didn't finish the season great, but again, that hasn't really shown to have a huge implications on the tournament. I'll go Nebraska. We'll set up a Florida-Nebraska matchup in the Sweet 16. Here we go. This is where things get interesting. North Carolina, Illinois, round of 32, best game of the tournament. LaTulip, you're up first.
I'm going Illinois. This could be more of a discussion if Caleb Wilson was playing. I know that analytics and the metrics, but I'm going Illinois.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with LaTulip. But like I said, they're a good team, but this is one of those you need a guy.
Yeah, need your dude.
Type of games, and they don't have them. And if you look at kind of the games whether it's Michigan State, Duke, just go down the line, Caleb kind of buoyed them until they figured out, we're here and we got a big time game on our hands. So I'm going to go Illinois. I think UNC is going to have so much trouble with that offense. I'm kind of worried.
All right, Illinois advances.
How about one day prep? Imagine prepping for that.
Yeah. That's a lot of work. All right, A&M Houston. We taking Kelvin Sampson to advance here?
Yes.
Consensus or no? Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. They're getting to Houston. So
that's what I figured. So Florida, Nebraska, is this where Nebraska's road ends here? We setting up a Florida-Houston matchup here in the Elite Eight?
I think so.
All right.
Yeah, you got to make sure that the 37% from three over the last 10 games holds for Florida, because if they play Nebraska, they're going to have to get them up, and they're probably going to have to make a decent percentage of them. But I'm going Florida.
How do you think the Illini match up with Houston, Mike?
I actually think they match up well.
But
I know that. I actually think they match up well because Illinois' got size. Houston will put two on the ball. Houston's, they're susceptible on the defensive glass. That's a strength of Illinois. Houston's prone to some of these longer scoring droughts. I don't know. I think this has been set up nicely for Illinois. Now they got to play well, and it's going to be in Houston. This may not surprise you guys. I'm picking Illinois in this one.
From a matchup standpoint, it is going to be interesting because they're so good from top to bottom offensively. You wonder what Houston does to kind of affect that. I mean, I don't think trapping is the right way because they have skilled playmaking bigs, right? So I'm going to go Houston, but I don't love Houston. I don't love it, but I'll go Houston.
The last thing I'll add, Sam, quickly is that Houston's they're kind of a jump shooting team, and that I think favors the Illini as well.
Mike, you sold me. I'm going with Illinois. I mean, let's spice things up here. We can't just go 1-2, 1-2 all the way down. The Illini advance to the Elite Eight to match up with the Florida Gators. Now we're starting to talk about matchups here, LaTulip. Florida and that front court. Talk about size. There's going to be a lot of size in this court, a lot of athletes. Thoughts on what this matchup could be?
A war. This is a lot of physicality from the Florida front court, and this Illinois front court really have to show up in this matchup. But I think the guard play tilts in Illinois' favor in this one, and so again, it sounds cry. I feel like I would have been unbiased on this, even if I didn't go to that school. But I got Illinois in the Final Four, man.
Henson, we buying it here? I mean, hey, if Illinois gets past Houston, like that, I feel like that may be the bigger challenge, at least playing against Houston to Houston. Now you get Florida.
That's money.
Florida shoots the ball so bad. Well, as of late, they've shot it better, but they're a top 10 offense, and they can't, like, their percentages suck. So if they strike fire, it's really over for the field. I'm gonna be honest with you. So that's what I'm thinking. The variance, okay, they haven't shot it well already. They've been shooting well lately. They didn't shoot well in the SEC tournament. Got blown out of there. I think the size and physicality for those European cats, we saw it. We've seen it this year. When they got some of them boys down there that don't sip tea all day, you know what I'm saying? They got problems. So I think it's going to be the same thing when Florida gets down there, and it's going to get nasty. It's going to get dirty down there. Michigan State game, you know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. Michigan, like when they gotta kind of strap their boots up, it gets a little sketchy for them boys down there. Now we'll see what happens, but I'm going Florida.
For whatever it's worth, I thought it was really strange that for Florida, a team that averages like 45 points per game in the paint, they averaged like 30 in the SEC tournament. Like I don't know what it was. They didn't feel like they wanted to show up and play, Henson.
I got a question for Mike. I'm just observing, looking at this Illinois team. Are they better with Wagler at the point without Boswell? Maybe Boswell come, like, you know, I like, what do you think about that? Like when he was out, I liked them a little. I liked them a little better. I don't know. I just liked them a little better. I don't know.
Well, you got more spacing. There's more spacing
Yes.
out there. I mean, I think, you know, some of the staggering of minutes potentially with Stojakovic and Boswell, like that's something that, you know, could happen. But I think, to me, and Keaton and Keaton was on ball the minute that UConn game ended in November. So, you know, he had a lot of time with Kylan in that backcourt. But, you know, I think Tomislav Visic, like that's the key for this team. I mean, some of these teams have stopped switching Illinois. They've gone back to playing drop coverage and just saying, Tommy, Z, if you want to beat us from three, beat us from three. So those two guys got to knock down shots from the outside, particularly Tommy. And then if that's the case, then I think it's game on.
Duke, Illinois, Final Four in Indianapolis. That's what we're going with for our bracket.
Sam.
Friday, Michael Tulips advance.
Let's go.
Let's so Dagan, we want to go to the West region. All right, let's hit the West region. Number 1 seed in the West, Arizona Wildcats, taking on Fins Up of LIU. I love Fins Up, but Arizona's probably going to advance there. Yeah, let's all do Fins Up. Homage.
Come on, right here. Yep.
Utah State and Villanova. This game out west. Villanova's going to have to travel. Some injury concerns there for Kevin Willard's squad. Mike, tell the folks who maybe haven't seen a ton of Utah State this year just actually how good they are. I know they're their only Mountain West representative, but this is a good team.
Yeah, I think they were underseeded. I think on the bracket matrix they were right on that like 7-8 cut line and ended up being a 9. So I like the way they get after the ball, whether it's, you know, Falslev or Allen or Collins. I have them winning this game. I think they're underseeded. I think that's actually a tough draw for Villanova.
Yeah, Henson.
Yeah, you know, I watched them play against Memphis, and the size bothered them a little bit, but they figured it out late. Big time experience on that roster as well. Older guys. I'm going to go Utah State too. I like them in this game, and I feel like Coach Calhoun playing that game with them. Like, look, man, they tried us. Like, let's show these boys something. And just unfortunate that they're going to go home on Sunday. So hate that for them.
I agree. I took Utah State as well. So Utah State, Arizona there in the round of 32. All right, 5 versus 12, Wisconsin versus High Point. I did pick this upset, Mike. I know you were at the Big Ten tournament, saw Wisconsin and Rapp go off for those 6 straight threes. So I imagine you're not really buying this 12-5 here.
I just think that backcourt's too good for Wisconsin. I do think, like I said, I think we talked about it in After Dark the other night, but yeah. I do think this could be a close game. But I think Wisconsin gets by.
I don't really know the status of Nolan Winter, but I think they could beat them without him. But he's playing okay. So with Nolan Winter, I think this team is really good. So I'm going to go to beat High Point.
Yep, overruled. Wisconsin advances. They will face off the winner of Arkansas and Hawaii. We taking Coach Cal here out in Portland? Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
I saw Hawaii play against UC Irvine. No chance.
The Anteaters. BYU, Texas, NC State. So this game's still going on right now. Score is 62-53. Texas in front with under 2 to go. So it looks like Texas is going to be the team that BYU and AJ dybantsa is going to play, Mike. I don't know. I mean, this could be interesting. It could be. The travel thing is got to play a part in it. But any fight here?
But I think momentum does too. And so that's why I'm going. It's a 7-point game. Let's say Texas wins this game. I'm going Texas, and then based off of history too. I mean, the last 14 years we've had these play-in first fours. 12 out of 14 years, a team has advanced and won their next game. So I don't think that'll be SMU or Miami. So I'm going Texas here.
Okay, Hansen.
I'm gonna roll with that upset as well. I wanted to kind of wait till this game was over, but
yeah,
BYU's leaking oil, and they're going to depend on dybantsa to get 50 points, and that's what they're going to live on. I don't think he does that first round.
Yeah, Texas again still up 6 by now, going back to the free throw line. Let's go with Texas. We're going to assume that they hold on to win here. We may look like idiots if NC State comes back. We'll get a call from Will Wade, no doubt. Gonzaga and Kennesaw State here. We'll take the Zags here. No love for the Owls, right? Yes. Okay. Miami and Missouri. Interesting geographical part in this one. Missouri like an hour plus away. Miami gonna have to travel. Mike, I see you kind of shaking your head. I knew you took Miami to win this one, right?
I took Miami. I watched Missouri get beat by a gazillion. By Illinois in St. Louis this year. So I don't think that's a big factor. They've been so Mark Mitchell dependent. I'm going Miami.
This is a tough one for me. I'm gonna fade the ACC like I did tonight against Texas. I'm gonna go Missouri. I think that the lack of dogs they've seen is gonna bite them because Missouri hit or miss, which all 10 seeds are in this field, hit or miss. But I'm gonna go for them to play well.
I took Missouri to win, so we'll go with Missouri. Sorry, Jay Lucas. Great season, one of the best turnarounds in the country. Purdue will advance over Queens. Let's go back to the top of the region here. Arizona, Utah State. Arizona advancing here to the Sweet 16.
Yep.
Probably, yes. Yeah, all right. Wisconsin, Arkansas. Probably one of the better round of 32 matchups that we could get. Tulip.
Wisconsin. There's something that I can't get there with Arkansas right now. And I think a lot of it, and look, they could score their way into the Sweet 16 for sure. But at some point, especially when you look at Blackwell and Boyd, at some point, Darius Acuff and Malik Thomas, like they're going to have to hit another gear defensively. They have to. I think if they want to do anything of consequence, like when we talk about Elite Eight, going to Indy, that has to improve. And I just think those two guards in the backcourt, and again, you could throw Billy Richmond, you could throw DJ White, like you could throw different guys on them, but transition, you're going to have not ideal matchups. And I'm going Wisconsin.
Hanson.
Old wise ball coach told me by the name of Williams, talent wins. I'm going Arkansas.
I'll go Arkansas too. Sorry, Latulip. We got to rattle through this here. Does Texas win another game against Gonzaga here or no?
No.
No. Gonzaga advances. Missouri and Purdue. Probably taking Purdue after what they did, right? The Big Ten tournament.
Yes.
Let's go back to the top. Arizona and Arkansas, if this game came to fruition.
Arizona.
Look, Mike, if Arkansas got this far, they probably would have done something right? I mean, like they probably would have been playing pretty good. But Arizona's probably the most confident 1 seed that we have right now. Purdue, Gonzaga. Henson, I'll give you this one.
I'm going Gonzaga.
Oh, Tulip, push back there. You like the Zags? Healthy Braden Huff, TBD. By that point,
That would be. I mean, that would have to be the case. But I'm going. I may be biased because I was sitting there in Purdue. I was sitting there in Chicago watching Purdue just punk teams for 4 days straight.
Right.
I think they found another gear, another level of toughness that could propel them pretty far here in March. I'm going Purdue.
I love the story. This feels like could be a team of destiny, having seen it all, losing to 16, making it to a championship. I'll go Purdue. Purdue, Arizona here in the Elite Eight. Again, we're a 1-2. We kind of went a little chalky here.
Arizona.
Zona.
All three of us taking Arizona to make it 2.
I do like that we've already tweeted out. I do like that we've already tweeted out Texas over BYU, and
2-point
now
game.
it's a 2-point game with 1 minute left.
Yeah, excellent. So we maybe just jinx all of Texas fans. We apologize for that. We'll catch up on what happened out there on the first 4 game. Again, 2-point game with a minute left. Texas with a 2-point lead. We'll hit the Midwest region when we come back as well here on the Field of 68 After Dark.
We are running it back with Splash Sports, ladies and gentlemen. Last year, the Survivor contest that we hosted with Splash paid out $40,000 to the winner. This year, the grand prize pays out a guaranteed $100K. For just $25 an entry and up to 133 entries, you can get a chance to prove that you are smarter than the Field of 68. Survivor is the future of March Madness. Just pick one team every day of the tournament to win, and if they do, you advance. The catch? You can only use each team once. We're also hosting a free-to-enter bracket on Splash. If you're looking to host one of your own, Splash can handle everything for you, from the entries to the payouts to the standings. We'll be running it back with the Sweet 16 Survivor contest as well for those that do not survive the first weekend. And Splash is now offering Quick Picks, a daily fantasy game that allows you to predict whether a player reaches a certain number on a specific stat. All links are in the description below. The big dance starts soon. Get in before it tips off.
Hey everyone, Jeff Goodman here, and I'm excited to tell you about what's going on with our partners at Voodoo Rangers. You know what makes March even better? Chaos. That 111 seed that nobody believed in suddenly ruining everyone's weekend. And this year, Voodoo Ranger wants you to bet on 11. Grab a can of G-Force IPA with 11% ABV, then register that beer at bet11.com. If an 11 seed advances, you have a chance to win a juicy prize, $11,000. We're also taking a trip to Vegas, exclusive G-Force merch. And if an 11 seed pulls off an upset, 1,100 fans could win cash for their next round. It's the juiciest bet of the tournament. No brackets, no stress, just cold beer and beautiful chaos. Visit beton11.com to enter. Win or lose, still got beer. Learn more at bet11.com. You must be 21 or older. No alcohol purchase necessary. Legal in all 50 states. Full rules at beton11.com.
Back here on the Field of 68 After Dark, bracket edition. We're trying to pick a consensus bracket here. We still got the Midwest region left to go. John Henson, Michael Tulip, I'm Sam Ravitch. Keep in mind, make sure you sign up for our Survivor pool on Splash Sports. We've got a $100,000 grand prize. Check the link in the description. We'll also be running a free-to-enter bracket pool on Splash, so jump in there as well. I filled out my bracket just before we hopped on the show there on Splash, so make sure you head over there and do that. All right, we got about 9 minutes or so to get through this Midwest region. So Howard just getting the win, their first NCAA tournament win of their program's history. Kenneth Blakely's road likely ends against Michigan. And then Georgia and St. Louis here. Latulip, get you a first crack here. This is a take the over game, right?
Take the over, space them out, Steph Blurry, St. Louis.
I got St. Louis leaking oil, Georgia.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about St. Louis, Mike. I can't. But like, I don't really trust either of these teams, so I don't know. This is a coin flip. I'll take Georgia. I don't know, a ton of athletes on both sides. Regardless, I don't think any of them's beaten Michigan. So Texas Tech and Akron, 12-5. This will be another popular pick. John Gross's team, they can score the best of them. I don't think. Let me ask you this, Mike. Akron, I think I asked you this the other night. Was Akron the best team in the MAC this year?
Yeah, for the last 2 months in MAC play, they were the best. They're playing the best basketball out of anyone in that conference, and they proved that. This hurts because Coach Gross is my guy. I just think in this matchup hunting type game that Texas Tech's going to play, I'm rolling with Christian Anderson in this one. Even though Tavari Johnson, Shema Scott, like those guys can get loose, but I'm going Tech here.
Henson?
I'm going with Latula. Honestly, I was watching this game. I wasn't even paying attention. It's just too good.
NC State's making a vigorous comeback right now.
Yeah, I mean, he just hit a 3. Like Trayvon Mark's like, what's going? Like what?
Darren Williams with a 3, 1-point game, 25 seconds left to go. So I guess we're going with Texas Tech. By the way, we did not pick 12-5 upset in our bracket here. We'll see how that pans out. Alabama and Hofstra. Alabama obviously dealing with some off-court issues right now. See how that plays into an NCAA tournament here. But are they going to have any pushback from Speedy Claxton and the Hofstra Pride here, Mike?
So I was debating Northern Iowa over St. John's, and because I didn't do that, I'm going Hofstra over Alabama in this one.
I love this.
The contrasting styles. I think the Aiden Holloway, like that's huge. I know it kind of goes without saying, but he's another entry point into the paint for that team that likes to get inside-out threes. I thought he's grown so much as a distributor. This is really the first time I may have to update my own bracket. I think I'm going Hofstra here.
Henson, you riding or no?
I'm riding.
Oh,
Texas turns it over again.
Texas cannot. Texas is giving this game away right now to NC State. This is a clinic on how to not hold on to a lead right now in the first 4. They can't inbound the ball. That might be off NC State though. We'll see. That'll go to replay.
Was that up 9? Was that up 9 with like a minute 40?
Yeah, I think it was 9 or 7. No, it might have been 9. Yeah.
They're about to throw this thing up. They're about to throw this thing up to Paul. I don't know what Texas is doing right now. It's not good.
All right, let's move it along. Tennessee, Miami of Ohio, and SMU in that play-in game in the first 4. Tennessee's not getting a ton of love here. But, Mike, you already kind of predicted this. NC State going to the free throw line. We taking Tennessee?
Tennessee.
All right.
Tennessee.
Virginia, Wright State, taking UVA.
Virginia.
Kentucky, Santa Clara. This is one, Mike, I can't decide. I can't figure out. I don't understand. Kentucky as a 7 seed doesn't compute. So reason this for me.
I'm going Santa Clara. You watch them and just the length of Mahi and Graves and Aboye, and Christian Hammond, like they're a good team, man. And if Kentucky came into this with a true point guard, a table setter, I'd maybe feel a little bit different, but I'm going Santa Clara here.
I'm with you too. I'm going Santa Clara. They've seen Gonzaga, St. Mary's. They've seen some big dogs. They're not going to be scared. So yeah, Santa Clara.
All right, we got a tie game here in the in NC State, Texas. Sorry, Texas. Man.
Iowa State.
Jeez, all right. Iowa State we picked. I already plugged that one in. All right, Michigan and Georgia will take Big Blue to advance here, likely. Texas Tech, since we picked Hofstra, I imagine we'll go with Tech. Probably Hofstra road comes to an end there. No, Mike, are you going to – wow. Texas.
Never a doubt.
1 second left. 1 second left. That's a big shot, man.
I'm going with Tech. I'm going Tech.
Yeah. All right, Tennessee, Virginia.
Oh, I love Tennessee, but I love Tennessee. I really do. I gotta go Tennessee.
Ooh, it's on you, Sam.
Virginia,
I'm going Virginia.
Mike.
You got Virginia?
I took UVA too. Although I like the matchup for Tennessee though. But
Yeah,
I did
I do
pick
too.
Ryan Odom and Virginia. That's going to be a really good game. Santa Clara and Iowa State.
Iowa State.
Iowa State.
Yeah. All right. Michigan, Texas Tech.
Big Blue.
Michigan.
Probably Big Blue. All right, and then the 3-2, Virginia, Iowa State. I picked Virginia, but whatever you guys think.
I'm going out of state. Just a year, man. They're ready.
All right.
Gosh, let's go. It just feels so chalky. I'm going Virginia, man.
We really did go chalk. All right.
You got to follow.
Oh, we're gonna. Does it really matter? Regardless, Michigan versus Iowa State, Michigan versus Virginia. Does it? I mean, we're probably taking Michigan to go to the Final Four, right?
We got 4 1 seeds.
No. We took Illinois.
Oh, we did take Illinois. Hell yeah.
I mean, I got Iowa State going to my Final Four.
Ooh.
So
I mean, I think the LJ Kaysen injury is real. Like that's real.
All right, we got 1 minute. Let's pick our championship here. Duke versus Illinois. Mike, your Illini going to the title game here or what?
It's where it ends. I'm going with Duke here.
I'm Duke.
Henson, you're going to pick Duke to go to a national title? Okay, very good.
Yep.
Arizona, Michigan.
Arizona
wins it.
Arizona, Duke in the championship. Everyone's taking Arizona, which means Arizona does it. 16, but
the last 5 teams to have top 15 win or 15, top 15 whatever's have won. I'm going with Arizona.
All right, Arizona, our consensus national champion here on our bracket selection. We're still keeping an eye out here. Yes, Texas did close it out, so we'll talk about that game when we go to the afters. For those who are with us here in the YouTube chat, please hit us in the chat. We will see you in the afters here on the Field of 68 After Dark.
2026 NCAA March Madness men's tournament is back, and it's guaranteed to keep you dancing every night. The biggest events in college sports is finally here, and TNT Sports has you covered from the opening tip to the final buzzer and everything in between. Keep up with all the heart-pumping, show-stopping craziness of March Madness across TBS, CBS, TNT, and True TV, and the March Madness Live app as we march all the way to Indianapolis. And this year, the men's Final Four returns to TBS on April 4th and April 6th. Catch all the clutch shots, big-time plays, upsets, Cinderellas, Blue Bloods, and more that keep you on the edge of your seat. You're not going to want to miss a second of the action, so tune into the NCAA Men's First Four starting Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on True TV and in the March Madness Live app. Today's episode of the Field of 68 is brought to you by Mando. Some men mask their BO with sense. Mando men get the job done right. Mando whole body deodorant was created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. You want a solid deodorant stick? Mando's got one formulated and powered by a mandelic acid to stop odor before it starts. You like spray bottles? Mando's is aluminum free and ideal for hard to reach places. All Mando products are baking soda and paragon free, and it's safe for anywhere on your body. Pits, balls, thighs, folds, feet, even the grundle. It's perfect for me this time of year. I'm spending 15 hours a day in an arena that hasn't had the AC turned on yet. If I didn't have Mando products, I might smell like the guy sitting next to me on press row, because Mando is clinically proven to control odor better than Old Spice. Want to try America's #1 whole body deodorant formula right now? You can find it in Walmart and Target and other retailers across the country. But for the best deals, go to shopmando.com and use code F68 for 20% off at checkout.
These my DJ Burn shades I had for. That was like taking them into the depths of Alaska and just dropping them off.
The first person that's gonna die gotta be one of the black guys. They're not gonna make it to the end of the movie.
That's like asking somebody, do they want to get a prostate exam or a damn gunshot wound?
Back here on the Field of 68 After Dark, and we have a consensus on our bracket. Arizona, national champion. Texas, we didn't jinx you too much. Ended up with the buzzer beater, Tremont Mark, the hero there. First and foremost, we do want to give you a heads up. We got a Pick a Twin promotion over at BetMGM. The Cavender Twins facing off in the Court of Legends game. You can enter to Pick a Twin to win free to play for a chance to win a share of $2 million. in bonus bets there, Henson. $2 million.
Jeez.
One, make sure you opt in to pick a twin to win. Free to play the game, and then select which Cavender twin, Haley or Hannah, you think will win the Court of Legends one-on-one basketball game hosted at the Bank at the Bellagio. And then if the twin you select wins the game, you'll win a share of the $2 million in bonus bets. So it should be interesting.
I mean,
all right,
Haley's
you guys want to,
for the folks at home. For the folks at home, Haley's considered the better twin.
Okay, very good. Henson's dialed in.
Yeah, so if you can go on, can we go on Kalshi?
Absolutely locked in. Absolutely locked in on that.
Yeah, can we go on Kalshi and bet that? Like, I feel like that's a lock.
You can go wherever you want. All right, you guys want to talk about this game? Texas led by 10 points in this game. They led by 9 with like a minute and a half to go. NC State just started chucking shots and making them. They made 4 of the last 5 from the field. And then about a second left, Tremont Mark drilled the 2-point shot to break the tie and give Texas the lead, and the eventual win, 68-66. So Texas does indeed advance. But, man, that was a game that nearly let slip through their hands, Mike, and able to pull out a win. So see if they can carry that momentum out of the first 4 and into their next round matchup against BYU.
Yeah, I mean, Henson mentioned it. There's obviously some betting trends on when you make a buzzer beater, last second shot, moving into the next round. I like to look at it as like a new lease on life for these guys. But what a fitting way for that NC State season to end, where your defense escaped you most of the year, and in a big moment where you needed to get a stop, Texas finishes it off. So I thought this game ended up being probably more of a rock fight than anybody intended, or than anybody expected. And in Texas, I think just their lack of kind of a true floor general is the reason why they struggled late there. But you'll take them any way you can get them at this point. And so Sean Miller does it at Xavier last year in the first 4. And he does it again here in the first 4 in 2026. So it's becoming the Sean Miller Invitational, feels like.
Well, Henson, it's a bit of a departure from the first meeting that they played. It was 102-97 out in Maui at the Maui Invitational. This one, 68-66.
Neutral court. This isn't like we have nothing to lose type game. Both these teams feel like they deserve to be in the tournament and play well, struggle towards the end of the season. So I think that's why the score was so low. Just everyone was just kind of tight. New ball, new arena. So I think Vocalitis, was it Vocalitis? I think it's Vocalitis, right?
Vocatitis, yeah.
Vocatitis, I'm sorry. Vocatitis. I think he fouled out late, but I think he was the difference. I think Texas should have tried to go to him more. If he's a good free throw shooter, this game's not even this close. So they've got some stuff with Tremont Mark and the big fella down there that, BYU's going to have to account for. But what a game. I love NC State, but when I did an NC State game, I talked to Will Wade, and he was like, look, I've accepted who we are. When we hit shots, we win games. Unfortunately, I hate that that's how my team is, and that's what we are. But if we make over 8 or 9 threes, we're in it. And so I don't know how many threes they made tonight, but it wasn't enough.
Well, you could tell
6 for 16 from 3 tonight too. So
okay.
I was gonna say, you could tell, Henson, defensively, obviously, NC State was on defense in that first half next to the NC State bench. And just watching Will Wade on the sideline, it's like guys laid on a rotation, 3s hit, he throws his hands up. Copeland tries to close out on Mark with his hands down. Mark hits a 3. Will Wade throws his hands up. You got the throw into Vocatitis, and no one's there to come over and trap. Vocatitis splits the trap, lays it in. Will Wade throws his hands up. It's just, I think, to your point, I think he knows the deal at this point. The defense kind of is what it is, and they were going to need to score a little bit more. And it feels like, outside of Darryn Williams, someone else kind of had to show up to the party tonight. So yeah, I mean, I expect this program to regroup and to reload. And now that he's got a year under his belt here at NC State, I wouldn't doubt them having a pretty stellar year too there.
What do you? I'm just curious, and I want to talk about the potential Vocatitis and Keba matchup for the next round. But Henson, what do you make of this season for NC State? Would you consider this a successful season in year one under Will Wade? Because when you look around the ACC at some of the other first-year head coaches, which I know a lot of NC State fans are going to do, and you go down to South Beach and you say, hey, well, Jay Lucas, maybe the biggest turnaround in the country this year. Ryan Odom at UVA, an excellent year by all standards there. So where do you kind of place NC State's finish to the year this year?
I think they're off to a good start. They became relevant in the national picture again. They were top 25, kind of up and down throughout the year. They were on pace to be top 4, and they dropped 2 bad games toward the end of the year, which now allows me to put my picture in Jeff's office for the year. So shout out to the Red Reckoning. But yeah, I think it's a good start. And Will Wade is one of my favorite coaches, like by far. Like if I could play for any coach, he would be the guy I would want to play. One of those guys I'd want to play for. So I hope he gets things on the up and up. I think he's going to be fine. He probably, now next year he's going to have to adjust and figure out what he wants, just like most coaches kind of coming into a new situation. But I think they're going to be in the mix until, he leaves there. Maybe not, I don't know about winning ACC championships, but, it's tough when you're in the ACC, right? You've got Duke, Carolina, Virginia, right? And you've got to knock them teams off the mountain, Louisville, right? You got to knock those teams off the mountain to even get in the conversation. It's a tough spot to be in at a school like NC State. So credit to him for being in the mix.
Yeah.
I think
they finished with the same ACC record as Florida State did, as Luke Laux did. Yeah. So it's not a knock on Florida State, but
Yeah, and Florida State was surging there at the end of the year.
Yeah.
But Henson said a great phrase there. In the mix. Just be like for some of these programs, just be in the mix. Because this NC State program, if you take away their miraculous run to the Final Four in 2024, that program hasn't had an NCAA tournament win since 2015. Like it's been a while. And so one thing I know about Will Wade is he will have them in this tournament, and he will give them a bite at the apple to win games in this tournament. And everybody wants to talk about like, hey, can this coach deliver us a national championship? Just get there and get there consistently, and I think Will Wade can do that.
Agreed. I love Will Wade. He was always great to me during my time in Richmond. So when he was there, so
no, they're gonna be good, man. Like they're gonna like I'm telling you, man. Like they're gonna be good. Like they're gonna be that thorn in the side for these teams. I promise you. Like they're gonna be a thorn for the years to come, man. Like they beat us by 20. They beat us by 20. We didn't have Wilson, but no one else beat us by 20 without Wilson. Like they're coming.
What are you thinking, Mike? What's on the tip of your tongue?
No, I was gonna say like, Henson's got so many good thoughts here. It's just I'm conjuring up things in my mind too. But like I think we forget now that
You know what I'm saying?
I think we forget, like we've become so accustomed to these like quick rebuilds in the NIL era.
Yeah.
And we gotta like remind ourselves that that's still a difficult thing to do. And he took this team to the NCAA tournament. And now, again, you have like having to like patchwork a roster together when you get a job in April, and then guys show up in June, and you have that kind of truncated space and time to put together a roster. Like you give this dude a full off season, you give this dude a full season to figure out what he wants. I think he's going to do it. So that's my last thought on it.
Agreed. Good stuff. Texas does advance 68-66. Dagan, I'll throw it over to you. To tell us where we are going next here in the afters.
To bed? No. Oh, okay.
Well, we won't stay here much longer, but I do want to look forward to tomorrow. Obviously,
Taco Tuesday.
Miami, Ohio. A lot of talk about them. They're in their game tomorrow against SMU, who has some injuries. Just kind of your thoughts on that one tomorrow night.
For the sake of Miami, Ohio, I hope they put up a fight. I'm gonna tell you like this: if BJ Edwards back, they're in trouble. And that's kind of just my analysis on it. I think SMU is so much better than a first four playing team when they're fully healthy that they could make Miami of Ohio look bad. But when I watch that Miami team, they move the ball, it pops, they make the perfect pass. It like tough team to just sit back and just wait to come to you, and all the pressure's going to be on. I mean, is the pressure on Miami or is it on SMU? Like, I don't know. Like, if I was playing in that game, who's the pressure really on? I think it's on Miami, which could be tricky because now the pressure's on you and you playing an ACC team, like a Power 4 school. So that's also kind of hungry, losing the last 3 or 4 games. And if they get their guy back, I think this is the last night for Miami, Ohio this season.
I think all things are pointing to him being back, right, Mike? I think that was the latest, at least that I saw, that BJ was going to be available. I think my biggest question is how Miami of Ohio handles, if he is healthy, which we're going to bank on, how do they handle SMU on defense? Because that has been one of the at least question marks for this team this year.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few guys that SMU's certainly going to try to attack, but I'll just put it this way. From a between the ears standpoint, how many times do you have a team coming into a tournament like this at 31-1 and it's like no one thinks you can do it?
Yeah,
like no one thinks you can win this game. I mean, that's very, very rare, and this team has a super unique makeup in terms of they got like 6 state champions on this team. From high school that, we've just seen that play out throughout the season, just the sacrifice and how much they play for each other. And now it's on display against all the talk. I mean, you got to think Miami's fired up for this one because all the talk about like, you didn't play this team, you didn't play that team, or like this team avoided you or blah, 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 like whatever the story may be. Now's your opportunity. Now's your opportunity to do it. And so they're going to be motivated. They can shoot the lights out. They tilt the defense. They run great stuff. And so I think it could be a challenge for SMU defensively, but to your point, Henson, like this is a Miami team that, and Sam too, like this is a Miami team that's you got to guard and you got to compete on the glass. That's where it's going to be won. Now Miami, they're I think past 330th in the country in offensive rebounding, but it's also something that it's similar to Northern Iowa. Like it's not something they prioritize. They get back in transition. Right. So do you change that a little bit tomorrow to try to get a few more extra possessions? That'd be kind of my biggest question heading into this game. Aside from just what type of toughness and disposition we see from Miami, because I think they got a lot to prove in the eyes of a lot of people, and I think they're going to be up for that challenge.
Henson, SMU 7.5-point favorites. You laying that, or you got any action on that? What you got?
I'm not laying 7.5 points with an undefeated team. You're crazy. I think Miami of Ohio is going to give them a run. I mean, I don't think it's going to be a blowout. And Matula made a great point. Like, if I'm sitting back in my room in my time, like, look, like this is our chance to show the world that we're like that.
Yeah.
And I think SMU is going to feel it early on, right? And this is, I don't love the 7.5. I'll tell you that.
A lot of Miami fans. Fans
doubt.
there.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, they're going to fill that place. How far, Mike? You were in the MAC most this year. That's pretty close, right? Like an hour, I mean,
that's about less than an hour for them.
Yeah.
To make that trip.
They're going to pack that place out.
Yeah, and I think there's gonna be, honestly, like there's probably gonna be Dayton fans there that are supporting them. Like that's not out of the question either. This is a nasty group. Like they're just, and it starts with Travis Steele. Like Travis Steele if you've seen any of the clips, like Travis Steele's got a chip on his shoulder. His team plays that way. Like his team knows at this point that they've been disrespected, and they I think they wear that. and I think they're ready to to try to, I guess, surprise some people. Even though if they did win this game, it's like, would it be to you two? Would it be surprising if Miami won this game?
No,
I'd be surprised. I would be surprised if they won.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised, but SMU was just so much better. Like, it's so like SMU is really good at full strength. Like, I don't know if I don't know if they can take them out if they get Edwards back. Regardless, I mean, and on top of that, SMU is going to, because of the bullseye man of the house back, SMU is coming. They're coming. Boopy Miller and those guys, like, so. Whew, I'll be sitting down with my drink in my hand, locked in. Like, that's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I'll give you an X factor in this one. It's Brant Byers. I mean, he's been their dead eye most of the year, and he struggled down the stretch shooting the ball. He's going to need knockdown shots tomorrow, and he's the guy that teams at times will try to attack. Like, I know for a fact SMU is going to try to go at Brant Byers defensively. So how he holds up, how his teammates help him out, like that's going to be I think a big swing in this game. And I guarantee it, some point in this game, he'll have a trail three from 26 feet. It's what he does. They need Brant Byers to be big time tomorrow. And Suter's obviously incredible. Scaljak, what he did. I mean, I think everybody knows at this point with this Miami team. I mean, their starting point guard tore his ACL in December, and they've still done this. Right. And Scaljak was their backup point guard that became an All-MAC player. So it's just been – and Ian Elmer as well. Ian Elmer's, though, I think him and Antoine Wolfolk, the two guys, and Justin Kirby as well, like those are the guys I think are going to be able to compete athletically in this game. But, this is dude. Henson just mentioned this one's gonna be freaking fun, man. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, just for everyone's edification, SMU was the last team in the field. It was not Miami of Ohio, and SMU lost 5 of their last 6 games entering the NCAA tournament. Their only win was against Syracuse in the ACC tournament. SMU has not won an NCAA tournament game since 1988. So we'll see. But to your point, Mike, like I do think the Miami of Ohio players have to be tired of hearing about, your strength of schedule wasn't great. He didn't play anybody. Well, all right, now let's see. Like, this is a great opportunity for these players who have been told that their entire season to come out and show who they are. And what I said, I would be surprised. I wouldn't be shocked, but I would be a little bit surprised. But Dagan, what do you got? Anything else?
Well, fellas, I'm not going to let you off that easy. I'm going to need a pick for tomorrow night. Give me a pick. Straight up.
Okay.
Who wins?
Oh, that's no fun. SMU.
I was close to this team for, on a number of occasions this year, calling their games. I like, they're made of the right stuff. I'm just going to, for the fun of it, man, I'm going Miami. I'm rooting for the underdog here.
I'll do an emotional hedge, and I'll take Miami of Ohio, but I think SMU will win the game. So, emotional hedge there. I would love to see it for the story. Yeah, I'd love to see it. All right,
Vegas has some 7.5-point favorites. They didn't build the casino by being wrong, bro.
No. Yeah. It'll be interesting. That game tomorrow night, no doubt Field 68 After Dark will be covering that. After that one goes final in Dayton. For John Henson, Mike Latulip, our entire crew, I'm Sam Ravitch saying so long. Enjoy the games. I'll tell you what, if any of the NCAA tournament games are like what we got in this Texas and NC State game, we are in for a hell of a tournament. We'll see you later, everybody.